Well, it looks like we're finally going to see that Nikon Z8 come to fruition. I'm going to give you my pointers on what I think it's going to be and something that I noticed in this latest picture that I think would make this camera a different departure from what Nikon has done in the past. So let's get started. We've had some new information about this camera possibly having some teasers launched this week, which would be a great thing. Personally, I like to see the camera more so than the teaser, but at this point, I'll take anything. We've been dying to hear or see this camera. And according to what we're seeing on Nikon rumors is that they're going to have ambassadors and content creators, influencers talk about this camera. It's something. We've all been waiting for some new information. And if this is what it takes to kind of get us more excited with actual detailed information about what's coming, I'll take it. So one thing I wanted to spend some time talking about, which I saw this new photo that they put out, and this one kind of intrigued me somewhat. The new look, or what the final look is going to be. Let's talk about that. Let's look at the photo. From what I'm seeing in the top plate area, where we usually find the drive mode and ISO and all that switch, that seems to be almost flat, flush with the body. And I think that could be a good design. Why? We've been used to the old days where we have everything on top. One of the things I've been saying in some of my past videos is that I prefer a device with a bigger screen on the back. Using a Sony a7R5, I've kind of gotten used to going through things in the menu. Now, it's not exclusive to that camera because I've had it on the Z6 also, the iMenu. And some of those things that we have on the back of the camera, the drive mode button, the playback, and so on, that could be put in the menu system. That doesn't need to be an actual button on the camera. It could be in the screen. So let's say, for example, Nikon has decided to take a lot of these features and incorporate them into a soft function, software screen. You can take away some of those buttons on the back of the camera, or, in a sense, the drive mode dial. You don't need that anymore. Looking at the Panasonic and Fuji cameras, well, pretty much all the other guys, you can see some of them have done away with the drive mode and basically incorporated that inside the screen. The iMenu is very good for incorporating things there, and some people say, hey, that's just another step I have to go through. We've been used to buttons for so long. I'm 55, going on 56, and I know that utilizing my iPhone, I was someone who didn't want to use it for photography. I'll say it out loud. I was one of those people who said, video should not be my camera. I love using this thing for video. And initially, I didn't use it a lot. But last year when I started YouTube, when I started traveling, a lot of the videos you guys seen posted and the travel stuff was taken with the iPhone, believe it or not. Stability is great on that thing. So let me not go off on a tangent on that one, but we have the technology right now. Touch functionality has come a long way. You could map something in the screen and have a few buttons, hard buttons on the outside, and it'll work fine. If they do have hard buttons, they need to be lighted. We know that this, camera is supposed to be a step down from the Z9, so that's something that I think we will need. But not everything from the Z9. We don't need a lot of buttons, and the camera will still function very well. So going back to this little area, I think they were doing a good job with that. The record button seems to be more pronounced, just like on the Z9, so that's a good thing. But they also show the ISO button right up top there, which is cool. On my a7R5, they have ISO pretty much on their wheel on the back. We don't have a wheel on the Nikon, so I think if they have it up there, push it, turn the thumb wheel, we're kind of used to that already. White balance button is usually up top. Well, that's on my FX30. You can hit up top there and change the white balance. But a lot of these things, again, could be soft buttons. So, yeah, I'm kind of liking this design, and also that other thing I see on the front that looks like the port for the 10-pin connector, the old 10-pin connector that we had. It doesn't look exactly the same, because it doesn't seem as though you have enough room to, twist the thing on there. But you know, that's an old thing that we've used in the old days. I know Nikon has a newer one with a rectangular port for the remote, so that could work. If that's the sync port up front, that could work as well too. I think it's more likely the sync port for flash. You know, the cable stuff, not many people utilize it these days, but there's still some people who have old equipment, so Nikon could be catering to those folks. That's something we can keep in mind. And my A7R5, and I'm going to reference it a lot throughout this video because that's what I have right now, and look at how things are structured on that camera. The sync port is on the side next to the HDMI port, and they have a remote port down the bottom. So if Nikon is getting away from the old design and trying something different, why not? Of all the mock-ups we've seen over the past year and a half, we really didn't see anything about the back. We've heard speculation that it's going to be the same screen, that's going to be flip out. I hope it's not. I hope it is something that flips forward, because I think in the grand scheme of things, Nikon really need to come out with something video focused as far as the screen and have it flip forward. For me personally, I enjoy utilizing my camera now, the Sony's, with the screen that flips out, because I can check real quick. Like when I did use a Z9 and standing back there and watch it filming someone, the autofocus was fairly sticky. It didn't lose focus on the person's eye, and it kept everything in focus. Now, I could make some concession if that's the case, because, you know, I do have an external monitor that I can monitor and see real quickly whether I'm in focus or not, if I know for a fact that the autofocus is going to be sticky. But I think something that would be really useful is that multi-angle screen from the A7R5, because that allows photographers to be able to tilt it up and utilize it, but also good for people shooting video. You don't have to flip it out to the side. The flip out to the side is what we've been kind of used to, because we never had this screen before. But imagine having that screen now where you can film, just tilt up, and it's fine. You're seeing straight down where, you know, the lens is, down the lens barrel out to what you're looking at. I can record a video just standing there looking down at it without actually having to flip it out. And I think most people, photographers and videographers, can appreciate having the functionality where you can just flip it up. But also, when the need arises, you can flip the screen out, tilt it around, see yourself when you're recording. So that's my other thing. Now, will they make it the same 3.2-inch screen? I hope not. I really hope for them to make it a bigger screen. But again, as I said, the mock-ups don't really show anything bigger, so maybe we'll still have the same old technology. I'm really hoping not. There is something I kind of saw in the patents that talk about some different kind of LCD, so, you know, would we see that? And in looking at the stuff, Nikon is doing some kind of new LCD manufacturing. I don't know what it is. They have, you know, different companies that they've acquired, and they have new technologies. Nikon is not just imaging, and a lot of people keep thinking about that, which is why when they release that information about eyeglass technology, people getting excited because of the infinity signal from China, I'm like, no guys, you know, since I've been here in Thailand, I've seen eyeglasses. You can get lenses for your eyeglass here in Southeast Asia. I don't know if they still do that in the US. I think they had at one point, but it's probably not a big thing in that side of the world. We know there's Zeiss glasses. We've heard about them. If you wear glasses, you put it, much I've gone into a glass store and you've seen the Zeiss lens, but you know, when you hear the price, you're like, not going for that. Anyhow, along with that, when I'm looking at the other tech as far as what could come out, improved EVF, and I don't want to rehash all these things, as you guys probably think I'm just talking these things, so some talk about them. But it's kind of thinking about, as a tech now is being talked about, we still don't know what it's going to be, but the numbers, utilizing my A7R5, and I can say, yes, I'm again talk about this camera a lot. The A7R5's screen looks really awesome. I'm talking the viewfinder. So having something with a bit more megapixels in it, or million dots, or whatever, you know, the number it's supposed to represent, will give you better performance. And I think the Z9 has really good performance on that one. A lot of people like the optical viewfinder of older cameras, and if you can, you know, mirror that with better technology, we will all love it. So photo guys, I've been saying I'd like the camera to be a baby Z9. Why? It can incorporate a lot of technology from the Z9, but still is going to drop some of those like frames per second, how much it shoots. I think it's going to be that, especially if they're saying it is going to be a baby Z9 using the same sensor. Some of those same things are going to be there, but keep in mind, it's not going to be 100% like that, because again, power requirements or how many frames per second you can shoot, that's going to be less. And even with the battery pack, we know that when you start shooting things with the sensor, you're going to generate some heat, so you're probably not going to have the same level because the Z9's body is different. And as we're talking about body and heat, going back to the video side of things, 8K60 internally, probably for a shorter period of time, maybe 24 or 30 frames per second, but it's not going to be 60. If it has 60, it's going to be external. Now, that being said, on the NRAW side, would they give it raw recording internally? Up to a certain point, they could, but would they really want to if they're still building it again to a price point? One of my patent information that I found, they seem like they're doing something external. Maybe they'll have their own thing. We don't know about that just yet. That could be a surprise that we've never heard about. But we do know that they've worked with Blackmagic and Artlist so they can do all that stuff externally. Currently, you can do up to 8K30, I think 8K60 on the new Ninja and Shinobi. But yeah, I don't think you're going to get more than that out of the Z8. You wouldn't really need to. 12-bit, yes. Maybe 14-bit, possibly. As far as I know right now, Artlist only goes to 12-bit. So if Nikon throws us a recorder, they can record 14-bit externally. Winner chicken dinner. A lot of things to unpack, but we don't really know for sure. We will see if everything starts coming out this week, and in the next 2 weeks beyond that, in May, we start to get actual specs. Then we'll know for sure if what I've been saying is right, what I've been finding the patent information is also correct, or I could be talking about stuff that's coming in the future. Who knows? But we'll see. Now that we're close, what do you guys think it's going to be? I know the photo guys have their own opinion, and us video folks have what we are requesting and what we would like. Yes, the camera is done at this point. It's just a matter of, what are we actually getting? The rumors tell us one thing, but can we get more than that? I am hopeful because some of the stuff I see in the patents, I think we could have a whole lot more than we even thought about. But again, let's wait and see. I'm curious to hear from you guys. Put your comments down below. Let me hear your ideas. I'm going to wrap the video. I'll see you guys in the next one.